Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of FB Live with Citizen Matters. For the last 3 weeks, we've been discussing the steel flyover project at great length and having various people discuss various viewpoints. Today is the last of that series, and we have a very interesting guest with us, Mr. K Mishra. Mr. K Mishra has been part of the Chief Minister's Vision Group and has been on many panels, defending the steel flyover and telling us that it is very necessary. So we thought it would be fitting to finish off this series trying to understand why the government wants us to believe that this is a very important and necessary project for Bangalore. Mr. Mishra, diving straight in, the steel flyover project was touted as a measure to decongest the traffic that is going towards the airport. Surveys for alternative roads to the international airport from the outer ring road, that is two roads, have already been put in place. There is an MOU that has been signed with the suburban rail. Yeah. There is also plans for the BMRCL to extend itself to KIA. Of course, that is phase 3, which many argue shouldn't be the case and it should be phase 2. Yeah. With so many alternatives already in place and being discussed, why do you think it is necessary for the government to go or even revisit the idea of steel flyover when it was put to rest in 2016?
So first of all, I am not in favor of steel flyover.
Oh, okay.
So I believe in multimodal transport.
Right.
When the last time this steel flyover came about, I wasn't for or against steel, nor was I for or against flyover. What I believe is that you need multiple integrated mode of transports.
Correct.
Now, till then, the access to the airport via Buddhigere, Maranhalli was still not done. That Bengaluru road was still in shambles because of the power line. And what we hear from our friends, I also work with the government to create Investment Karnataka, which is essentially to get investment to Karnataka. And when investment comes to Karnataka, it also helps the country as a whole.
Correct.
Because there are only 3 or 4 cities in the country, actually 4 cities only in the country, who are creating jobs. One is NCR, one is Bangalore, one is Pune, one is Hyderabad. Every other city in this country is negative job growth. And Bangalore to me is not just a city, it's an economic growth engine of the country. And also Bangalore represents what's best this country has to offer. So whatever happens in Bangalore has to have a context which is much beyond you and me.
Correct.
Because this is impacting the society, the country at large. And my problem with when we go and ask investors to come to Bangalore, they're very happy with the talent pool, and they are very happy with the climate. They are very happy with proactive citizenry government. Only thing they talk about infrastructure.
Right.
An investor coming from the city, from the outside the city, and any visitor, any official, any company executive coming and to meet, people are almost saying, no, Bangalore I can't go, because from the airport it takes 2 to 3 hours at times, the peak times. So my simple argument is that we need a very efficient connectivity, because airport is also an economic hub of the city, correct? Because people, nobody can walk a cycle from other cities to Bangalore, from other countries to Bangalore. They have to come by airport. So this argument that airport is used by elites and all that, I think that's a little bogus argument from my point of view. So access to airport is paramount. Now come to this thing of a steel flyover. That time also I said, the way it was planned, and forget about the steel part, let's talk about the elevated road from Chalukya to Hebbal. There's several TV interviews, and every time I said, this is not going to solve the problem, because it is actually starting from point A ending to point B. which is going to cause at both ends. Earlier they were not even connecting it to the airport corridor. So what I had proposed this, because whatever you want, city has traffic which even 250 kilometer, 1000 kilometer of metro, certain kind of traffic cannot go on metro.
Right.
And I'm the big proponent of metro as well. Outer Ring Road Metro, I had proposed, worked with everybody, created the public-private partnership model. So my thing was there that we need additional road capacity. And that's why we had proposed North-South corridor,
right,
which is coming from Madiwala, which is Silk Board, to Esteem Mall, which essentially the most congested part. And then there were the roads, overroad. It is not very little cutting of the trees. So my argument had been that we need additional road capacity. City is fully grown. We cannot widen it. Roads cannot be widened. And the least environmental destruction can happen. A single tree cut is a problem. And I love it to see the place I live. My thing was that if the road goes in the middle of the existing road, on the top of it, this is the most non-intrusive, non-destructive way of creating additional road capacity. I'll tell you why additional road capacity is needed in Bangalore, because I have written about it. Additional road capacity actually will promote public transport.
Okay.
So this is what so in the current, and now given that elevated corridor, north, south and east, west is being considered by the government. Suddenly this steel flyover coming in, which is again going from nowhere to nowhere, is a bad idea.
So you think the steel flyover is the red herring for the north-south corridor? Because I think that also is a project that is going to...
Exactly.
You agree with that?
To me, it looks like there are reasons for this corridor and flyover which are not infrastructure related.
Okay.
I'll not go into anything more.
Okay.
Elections are coming. Earlier also it was promoted.
During the elections?
During the elections. And people can figure out why it is being promoted. Elevated corridor is being done by PWD. This corridor is being promoted by BDA. The ministers who head those departments come from different parties. And I think there's a lot in between. I mean, it's actually not needed, because elevated corridor from north-south elevated corridor from Madiwala to Silk Board to Esteem is going via Mekri Circle.
Right.
Now, if at all you wanted something, you need one flyover at Kaveri Junction. Or maybe if you really want something, you start from Windsor Manor and connect it to Mekri. Why do you need all the way from there? And that doesn't need to be that wide. It can be in the middle of the road without cutting a single tree. It's possible. But if the intent is to get the steel flyover of the same cost, of the same size, of the same vintage, I think government is really not thinking straight. And certainly it is not from the motive of fixing infrastructure, because from Chalukya to Esteem Mall, the people who will go, we all know. It's not serving people living in Jayanagar.
So you think that's an elitist project?
I don't agree with that. No, see, it's nothing like elite. Anybody going to the airport is a person who's using the airport. You and I are not elite. We go to the airport. I think that's another, my request and suggestion to the people who are trying to put a civic debate into this. Don't use these words. Don't try to divide the society. If you're going to the airport, you're elite. Chances are all the people who are talking about also go to the airport. And if you happen to live in that part of town, Jai Mahal, this, that, you're also going to use it. Of course, politicians will use it because it's starting from Vidhan Sabha. Officers will use it. No businessmen live there. I don't live there. So if they call somebody elite, who are those elite? It is, so I think if you use the right terminology, message will go right across. This is unnecessary project.
So you are of the opinion today that the steel flyover is an unnecessary project?
In the current format, given that elevated corridor is proposed, which is anyway going from the Mekri Circle, this project is, earlier also I said, this project is not going to solve. It will cause problem at Chalukya Circle. When you bring people down, and they had all funny shapes, one going to Vidhan Sabha and all, it will destroy the whole area. So this is a completely unnecessary, and I think reasons are certainly not infrastructure related.
You've been talking about the north-south corridor, the 92 kilometer
north-south and east-west.
The elevated corridor that is about...
Not only I've been talking about, I have proposed it.
You've proposed it.
In 2013.
I have with me an interesting document that is dated 13th October 2016, which the then minister, the Bangalore District in charge, Mr. K George, had given in response to a number of queries on the steel flyover, and he called it as a subset to a larger picture, which he meant with the elevated corridor. Now, one of the questions, an interesting observation was that this was going to reduce air and noise pollution in the area. The IISc study that was recently released actually argued against it and said that if one should go ahead with this project, by 2020 the carbon monoxide levels would go up by 3%, I beg your pardon, and by 2030 it would go up by 4%. The travel time, on the other hand, also would go down only by 5.3%. But if the money was invested in metro, this travel time would come down by 53.4%. My question to you is, do you have any numbers that contradict this study that has been put forth by the IISc?
So, see, IISc professors do these studies, and I think they are entitled to, and there's a very good data point. Let me tell you why I think it is needed. First of all, this is another mindset we have. If we don't do this, we will do metro. Correct? If it is done, metro will not be done. This, I think, comes from a country where we always had scarcity of everything. And the mindset is, if I do this, this will not happen. So far, elevated corridors are not there. Why Bangalore has only 42-kilometer metro? Correct? So it is not that because elevated corridor was not there, more metro has been done, or it is also not there that elevated corridor is there, metro will not be done.
Right.
And let me tell you, the people who are giving this kind of argument, I want to understand what have they done to increase the length of metro.
Okay.
I can take the credit. In the government scheme of things, there was no metro on Outer Ring Road. This, to me, it looks like completely illogical to think that metro planners did not plan a metro on Outer Ring Road, which has 5 million people, contributes 33% to India's IT exports. Correct? So we work with the government, and I would have wanted these IISc professors and those activists who are saying that don't do this. Another thing, never say don't do this. If you have a better idea, say do this and do more of this. So
I think that is the argument that is being put forth, Mr. Mishra.
No, it's not being. No. The argument,
they're actually saying that instead of the elevated corridor, would be better to expand our resources in another direction in terms of longevity as well.
No, absolutely true. The metro has which metro is being stopped? So metro already has a plan. Metro has certain capacity, certain speed by which it's doing things, correct? Right now 42-kilometer metro is running, 120 odd kilometer metro is going to happen by phase 2, then 250 kilometers by phase 3. We got that put into the budget. We made Chief Minister announced 250 kilometers. I would suggest to all these people that please create an argument for things. Now let me come to this, that if this elevated corridor is done and if the metro is expected the way it is expected to be done, what will happen to the city? So today metro is 42 kilometers. Metro is carrying 4 lakh people per day.
Correct.
How many people buses are carrying?
Almost 50 lakh.
50 lakh. How many buses are there? BMTC buses, for example.
6,355.
6,400 something.
6,400.
Correct. Almost same number of private buses are running for the companies and things like that. So I proposed to the government, BMTC, why don't you make 12,000 buses? I wrote the electric vehicle policy for Karnataka, which became the national policy also. We said let's have remaining all the buses as electric. Let's add 6,000 buses. Let's go raise the money, loan, and there are lease model, of course, which our minister is now opposing. He wants to buy buses. It's a lease model, use as you go, 37 rupees per kilometer, something like that. Simple answer came from the MD of BMTC. Sir, where is the space to run the buses? 6,000 buses I have, and those buses are almost running like back to back.
Right.
They bunch up. So at one bus stop, thanks to congestion, at one bus stop, suddenly we'll have 6 buses coming.
Okay.
And they all go empty. And then for 20 minutes, there will be no bus because of congestion. Before that, I had, when these have signal-free corridors, the whole idea of signal-free corridor was that if we can create one lane for the bus only, bus lane concept.
The BRTS.
Not BRTS. Bus priority lane.
Right.
BRTS is a dedicated bus lane which was planned on the outer ring road, which got cancelled because of metro.
Correct.
A metro is a better solution any day compared to BRTS because it can carry more traffic. So if you come on the airport from IISc junction all the way to Bengaluru, and you will see that the yellow line is made.
Right.
On left side. The yellow line was made for the putting the bus priority lane. So during the morning peak hours, evening peak hours, buses only will go in that. Traffic Police Commissioner comes and says, sir, there will be riots if I allow one lane only for the bus, because there is only one extra lane there. So if I had 3 lane, 4 lane, I can see one bus here. But and every arterial road, there are 12 arterial roads except outer ring road, which is 3 lanes. Every other arterial road is only 2 lane on each side. You can't give it. Now suppose I have to put 120 kilometer or 250 kilometer of metro. Maximum traffic it will carry is essentially close to 25 lakhs.
Correct.
Okay. Now 25 lakh traffic by 2030.
Right.
By then, not that I would not want, but Bangalore is going to become 1.5, 1.7 or 2 crores, whatever.
It will be about 2 crores.
2 crores.
Expected is about 2 crores.
2 crore people, 25 lakh only can be carried by metro, because metro you can't go on the roof, unfortunately, like buses or your train. Now 25 lakh and bus already, the roads are choked. And given that in this country you can't say you cannot buy the car, anybody who has money will buy the car. Now if and also metro is not going to reach within 500 meter of your house by 2030.
Correct.
So if you are not going to be
But metro itself has not been designed as a last mile collectivity. It is, wouldn't that be?
I'm coming there.
Right.
In you go to any country, there is a place like Tokyo.
Right.
Where you will not get the permission to build a property if you are more than 2 kilometer in suburban and more than 1 kilometer in Tokyo metropolitan region. There is a public transport. Bangalore, we don't have any rule. We are allowing people to build anywhere. Metro is not even going outside, metro did not go to Electronic City. Metro did not come to ITPL, correct? Metro is not coming here where we are sitting. So, metro takes time. Delhi metro has taken 30 years, correct? Bangalore will have by 2050, hopefully, maybe 1000 kilometer metro. And that time we will have a metro, maybe coming to your place. Then the traffic will come down. Till then traffic will continue to go because people will move. Now, if you do as much metro as you can do, but metro also there is a cost of raising money.
Right.
GOI is unwilling to fund any metro which is not going to be economically viable. Okay. Today in Bangalore, metro is still like this, where they are not able to service their loan. So metro essentially has to stand on its feet when it's at full capacity, and I'm sure metro will be a very, very good option. Coming back to our bus, suppose I want to give bus priority lane at the bottom. If I have, and these are only 2 elevated corridors, north, south, east, west. Suppose we run express buses. Suppose somebody wants to go from Kyarpuram to Yashwantpur. Why should he block the road at not Kyarpuram, say Hoskote? Because you cannot say that nobody will travel. People will only travel with metro, and somebody will go for marriage, somebody will carry some family, somebody will. Metro cannot solve for every kind of mobility. Metro solves only for commute mobility. Correct? Metro is commute mode all over the world. That's why metro is evening, morning, because you can't carry bags, you can't carry sabji, you can't carry, only just carry your maximum. And metro is fully, you can't even carry your own laptop bag. Correct? So metro serves certain purposes. But everywhere in the world, look at Tokyo. Tokyo has elevated corridors. Shanghai has elevated corridor, and they have metro. Tokyo has 14,000 kilometer metro, and Tokyo metropolitan area has only 2 crore people like us. So my suggestion is that we should do as much as we want. So if we are able to create this additional space, now their argument is that if this road gets done, metro will get.
I don't think that.
No, that's a say.
That's one of the arguments.
But I also want to say the money for this is not, first of all, coming from where the metro is, and by not doing this money is not going to go to metro, because this money essentially is coming from as what I hear from the government, is coming from the PPP model.
Alright.
Okay. So if there is economic viability, and now coming to this, okay, this will promote cars. This will not promote cars. If I have an access where I can have an easier metro point to point, I will be going by metro. However, if I don't, I'm still going to take my car or bike or anything, and I will get stuck in traffic. So if I wait 20 minutes in traffic, my engine will create more fumes, more pollution, harm the environment much more. This study, to my knowledge, is incomplete and biased. Okay, and I can sit across Verma and whatever other gentleman is and prove them wrong. They have taken a single-minded by putting that theoretical formulas into this. I want to say when elevated corridor happens, we will give, and that's what it is there in the study also, which government has put.
Is this available on the public domain for everybody?
Yeah, it is in that, whatever they had put for the public consultation, that there will be dedicated lane for the buses. I want them to consider the reduction of congestion and hence the reduction of pollution because of that, rather than just taking this, this I think is a mischievous, and it is misguiding people to say this, because this is absolutely written not from an academic point of view, from an activist point of view, who has a viewpoint, and he will create a study which will support his viewpoint by ignoring other viewpoint. I would request him that please include that if one, because of this, which is not possible today, because of elevated corridors, in this we are able to give a dedicated bus lane, we are able to increase from 6,000 to 12,000 buses, and BMTC is able to carry 1 crore people. Then what happens? That will be, I think, a fair evaluation of this study. This study currently to me looks like biased, mischievous, and created for a purpose essentially to misguide people.
So basically you're saying with the elevated corridors, should they come and should they be put in place, the current traffic that's going will actually move to the elevated corridor, and you have space freed up for the buses. Am I right in understanding?
That's my approach.
That's the approach that you're going.
And along with that, we can also run highway buses, which will be through traffic. The highway buses also will carry a lot of traffic from the outside area. So the people living in Hoskote where metro has not reached, people living in, for example, Kanakpura or much farther space, they can come to city without having their own vehicles, because these highway buses will go faster. Today they are not coming by that because bus stops at every stop, and these highway buses are norm everywhere. Shanghai highway buses come from 200 kilometers to Shanghai. So this is something. So on the top we'll have highway buses, they'll be able to move faster, and at the bottom the local buses, BMTC buses with dedicated lanes.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr. Mishra. Isn't the elevated express corridor towards electronic city that is currently working built on the same principle, essentially?
So it was again, it's certainly, imagine if this was not there. If elevated corridor was not there to electronic city, what will happen? Today it is being used to its fullest capacity. Now one mistake they made it too narrow. In fact, in that corridor, I don't know if you remember, the government did not pay money. The government actually got money. Because it was negative grant. So if they wanted, and road below is very narrow, they should have made it 8 lane. Look at what happened to the airport. If airport elevated corridor was not there, what will happen to the road below? And the reason road below was a mess, people were missing their flights, that's why it was made. Look at Tumkur, look at electronic city. They are all serving their purpose. Given that traffic is still so much that despite that on the top, there is a jam below. And also all of these companies are having at least 50 to 60% people going by buses. It's not that they are, because of the elevated corridor, everybody is taking their car. Go to Infosys, go to Wipro, all those big campuses. I have done the survey. At least 60% are coming by bus. Around 20 to 30% people are using their own vehicles.
Which is causing the congestion. Most of the congestion happens because of that. That is the case.
And unfortunately, everybody cannot come by the bus because people to Infosys are coming from every nook and corner of the
What is the average distance travelled by somebody in, say, an Infosys campus at Electronic City? So would you be able to give me a number?
I have no idea, but given that the place is so far and is only very recently that area there has become livable, apartments have come and something has come. To me, places like that are unfortunately necessity but wrong choices. Because if you create something 60 kilometers away and a whole city is taken there, then metro should have been there. That's the purpose of the metro. Because metro can be faster, metro can carry more people, and metro is the last to go there. I don't know why Baiparhalli was chosen to be the metro. So I think it was a very poor planning. Unfortunately, city was not so activist, so was not so alive at those days. I remember when I talked to Srivastava, he said, why Baipanhalli? Oh, NGF land free mil gaya. Correct? So government had thought of metro as a fancy project, not as a utility project.
Your conversation with me pretty much tells me that you are of the opinion that the projects have been prioritized wrong. Am I right in that?
Yes.
And do you think elevated corridor is the priority at this point, should be the priority at this point?
I'm not wedded to elevated corridor. I am wedded to mobility. Now, if the government says that I am going to along the elevated corridors, I am going to run a rail-based system, no problem. Absolutely no problem. I'll be very happy. I lived in Tokyo, and where I bought my car and motorcycle because I love them, I used them only on the weekend for going out. But I never use this for commute. In Tokyo, can't even use. If you use that, you're not covered by the insurance of the company. Okay. I'm so thrilled that metro is coming here. So, if people think that I have fascination for road-based transport, it's wrong. My fascination is with congestion-free, pollution-free city. And I believe...
And you believe building more roads would help that?
Not more roads. Unfortunately, we have not built any roads. That's a problem. Last road in Bangalore was built in 2000.
ORR.
After that, we have not built anything. Look at common sense. The city has grown. When I came to Bangalore in 95, there were 40 lakh people.
Correct.
Today, we are 1.3 crore. The only infrastructure immediately 5 years after me coming here was Outer Ring Road. 18 years, we have not built anything. Cars have gone from whatever number to whatever number. We have
80 lakhs now.
Vehicles,
yes, in all.
I mean, come on. Whatever people are talking about, do you realistically believe that in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years there will be enough of metro to take these cars and buses away from the roads? No. So my thing is, have a limited plan. North, south, east, west. Why I am saying north, south? Economic activity is happening in electronic city and mobility is happening in airport, which is north. This is 70 kilometers away. If you don't allow people to use this, when you're going to the airport, you're not going to go through 30 stations, 50 stations from electronic city. Allow people that kind of connectivity. And this is not essentially for the traffic. Of course, there will be 5 or 6 points where you can get down and get on. And that is also somebody from MG Road also going to the airport. Why does he, clog the road below? And if you're moving faster, by the way, today cars are not very efficient. If you move faster, your pollution level will come down. Because 20 minutes in traffic versus 3 minutes going faster, which will produce less. And I know in 2030,
the number of cars will be more. Wouldn't that be the case?
Number of cars already more.
No, by 2030, wouldn't the number of cars already exceed
I would say, given the way things are going, given that today my son doesn't want to buy a car. When I was there, I bought 2 cars, one for myself, one for my wife. Today, one car is actually, I want to sell it because it's too old, I can't sell. My last car is like around, I just got it renewed because it has already completed 15 years. I'm not into buying cars. My son will not buy cars because he uses, so if Ola Uber was not there, we will buy car. But Ola Uber is also running on the road.
Correct.
And they are crazily parked everywhere. So they have not reduced congestion. Only thing, people have moved from their own car to shared car.
Whichever way you look at it, there will definitely be an increase in the number of vehicles.
By
2030.
No. So there is an economic increase in number of vehicles and there is a need-based increase. Need-based increase will come down if metro become and any type sort of public transport becomes more prevalent and more available. And I think both BMTC and metro should go whole hog to increase it.
So why is the government not prioritizing that over 25,000 crore elevated corridor? Why is that not being prioritized?
Again, don't bring elevated corridor. Even so suppose BMTC put 12,000.
No, Mr. Mishra, we've been talking about prioritizing projects. My question is, if these are measures that can actually work, give a better measure of decreasing the congestion, why are they not being prioritized? I'm not saying this or that. I'm saying let's prioritize which is what you've been arguing over.
Tell me why you think it's not being prioritized. Metro has, the Bangalore had only 106 kilometer metro plan. Today 250. Not only plan, DPR is being done. Now metro and all are also mega projects. So just because you want to prioritize, metro will not happen just because you want to happen in a hurry.
But so, what about buses then? We've increased by, I think in 2012 the buses were about 6,000. We've gone up by about 500 at the most.
Because we just replaced buses.
We replaced buses
and
as well.
This is the point I took it up. I said, why are we not having 12,000 buses? And that's how electric. So two things. First, minister and whosoever it is.
Mr. Tamanna is the transport minister.
Please talk to him. Why is he? And I don't know what the truth is. And I don't want to speculate, but public is thinking he wants to buy because buying money can be made. That's what people are saying. Okay.
What is your opinion on that?
My opinion is, why you want to have asset on your books when there is a service provider available. These are new technology, new buses. Tomorrow something goes wrong. You have bought it. It is your headache. Right now the guy is giving you on rent. Today why I am using Ola, Uber. The guy's car stops, I dump it and move on. I don't pay for it. Why you want to buy on your books? So to me, it is completely, I can't understand why you want to buy bus and why minister wants to buy. He has not come out to explain this, and he better explain, because public thinks that buy versus rent is always because of the money involved. Why you want to invest so much money upfront rather than paying per kilometer? So whatever logic he is giving, I have not heard about it, and I am very, very upset about it because I was so excited. I used to go to Delhi that Karnataka is the first state which has come with the electric vehicle policy. And I used to tell everybody, we will be the first state and first city to have public transport electric. We are almost 10th already.
Yes.
And what is happening? What is Chief Minister doing? And last time I met him and he said, yes, we will do it and all that. Hopefully next time I'll meet and again bring it up. Because this is something, and having said that, even today, if the government can manage somehow, dedicate one lane for the buses and put buses every 10 seconds, I can tell you traffic will come down. So police is not allowing it. Traffic police, unfortunately in this city, the earlier traffic commissioner had told me that he's under pressure during the election to stop all the work because traffic, those white topping work essentially causes traffic jam, and during the election politicians don't want to hear the public complaint, and because of which white topping project got delayed by 9 months. Correct? Now the new gentleman has come. He is more considerate. He thinks that if we don't do this, we will continue with the pothole problem. That's another problem. Correct? Everybody is opposing white topping. They don't realize, but then they also don't want potholes. And they don't realize that they are being fueled by the people who are making money out of the potholes. Every year you give the contract. Every year chief minister is counting potholes. Minister gets publicity. I filled 6,320 potholes. Correct?
That's a different argument for another time. Definitely, white topping is a whole other.
My thing is, if I would like public transport any day, space is not there.
Clearly, but if there is space to add vehicles every day, I'm not very sure about the number of vehicles being added in every day.
People are not buying the vehicle because there is space. People are buying vehicle
because they can afford to.
They can afford to, yes. In Bangalore they can afford to. Calcutta doesn't buy that many. And there is no alternative. Mumbai they don't buy because they don't have to. Because it's a linear city. You live maximum 2 kilometers away. You take auto to there is a train. Nobody is buying. And Mumbai can afford as much because their apartments cost 10 times more than Bangalore. It's not a question of people afford to. People are forced to. If you are living anywhere outside the outer ring road or living anywhere in Bangalore, how will you reach? Baipanhalli? How much metro can take? And metro is going today where nobody goes to work. Metro is going to Jayanagar. Who goes to work in Jayanagar? Correct?
Okay.
There's nothing. Today's metro, if you don't have the car, if you don't have motorcycle, how will you reach your office? That's the reason. And the day, I don't think anybody loves driving. Frankly speaking, this idea of these professors, I think they are from socialist era or mentally socialist. People are not buying the car because it's a status symbol. People are not buying the motorcycle because it is something fancy. It is necessity. Those days are gone. People have better ways, and especially a city like Bangalore, unlike Delhi, nobody is showing off. I mean, this culture of this city is very different. Everybody is professional. If you come in a fancy car, nobody is going to get excited about you. People are buying cars because they are forced to buy. give them an option where they don't have to buy, they will not buy the car. That's my belief.
But in putting a project like the elevated corridor,
Yes.
which you said, you can put a rail line over it.
No, I didn't say that.
You
No,
mentioned
I said highway bus.
a highway bus on
Highway bus on that, and then it frees up the space below, so you can come dedicated bus lane, so that all the company buses, all the school buses, and all the BMTC buses can go in there. And if the bus is going faster than your car, I can assure you will take the bus. If bus is going slower than you, you'll not take the bus.
Right now, walking is the fastest
Right
in
now,
Bangalore.
walking is the fastest. That's why I'm also pushing the cycle lanes, correct?
Right.
And for if you're within 5 kilometers, you should be going by cycle. And I'm sure people are.
So you're saying the elevated corridor project would actually encourage cycling and buses?
Will encourage people to use public transport, because see, car is costly, correct? Car is not cheap. Car is not going any faster than the bus anymore, correct?
Nothing is going faster.
Nothing faster.
Nothing is going
and
faster.
People are saying that they create traffic congestion. Nobody is there. It's we.
Yeah.
We on the road are creating. If government, and I'll tell you, this I want to give on record. If these gentlemen, whosoever are trying to approach elevated, can convince the government and can convince the police, and I think it is doable, I believe it's doable, that please barricade one lane and allow on these 12 arterial roads, which is 12 high density corridors, one lane give for the bus. I can tell you traffic will come down.
Why have you not been able to convince the government, sir?
Oh,
you've been working with them for a very long time. Why have you not been able to convince them?
Because traffic police simply says, I will not cooperate. And I'm on record saying that. And I think it can be done. You please talk to DULT. I work with DULT. Every single junction I have gone on airport road, decided how to make that bus priority lane. On Old Airport Road, Old Madras Road and Hosur Road. Reason being, all three connect to IT corridor, where maximum commute traffic is there. I said it is possible to do it. In London, they have reduced the bus, they have reduced the lane.
Correct.
3 lane, they have made 2 lane, and saying 1 lane only for
the buses.
Correct?
Right.
And if you have car, you have to pay extra. Everybody move to the bus. Why Bangalore is not doing it? Now coming to, I don't know. My reason for elevated corridor is, hopefully with that I will be able to have a dedicated bus lane. I don't know what is politicians' reason to do it, and I don't want to speculate on that. But if for whatever reason, and by the way, elevated corridor is not something which is going to be done in a hurry, is also not something, because we are not able to even complete one little underpass and overpass, correct? It's going to be a mess. If somehow we can give dedicated bus lanes in the city, I'm sure, and add double the, and which is easy part, I'm sure once we have that, I can force the system to buy more buses.
It is much cheaper to buy buses than have any...
I think it is a mindset problem.
Okay.
Like police stopped the work on white topping, politicians don't have guts to tell the public that this is 1 month pain for lifetime gain. Same thing. If somebody can go and convince, and I would request you to go to the new traffic police commissioner and tell that, and tell I said this. If they are able to dedicate, try with 3. Try with Hosur Road, Old Airport Road, Outer Ring Road, and Old Madras Road. Try this arc and see, then we can cancel the elevated corridor. Correct? It is certainly, you will need more natural resources to build it, you will need more manpower to build it, and it is going to go in huge controversy. Tomorrow people will go to court. So I have no love for concrete. I have no love for steel either. I have love for the city. I am a person who planned and designed the mobility for the first smart city in the world in Tokyo. And there the concept was, you don't go to transport. Transport comes to you. And if you go there, Odaiba area, you see that transport goes through the buildings. There's a, without driver, that monorail kind of thing which goes through, and this whole area beautiful. That's my vision. I'm a public transport person. I hate private cars. The question here is, to promote, and given there is a democracy, can you put a lottery like Singapore to buy the cars in this country? You can't.
That wouldn't be possible in a country like
Bangalore. No, can't.
But the way to do it would probably be like London, where you make using private transport so expensive that they have no choice but to go to public transport.
And
congestion charges are massive.
Look at that. One of the simple things was there to put a parking system in the city,
which has not worked.
Not
the parking policy is still stuck at the BBMP council.
And why it is stuck? Who is controlling BBMP council? Politicians. And what is their interest? I don't even understand, because I don't think on MG Road every corporator is running a mafia of parking. No. But why it is stuck? They think public doesn't want to pay. They don't realize public wants to pay. They want the proper parking place. So, unfortunately, in a chaotic democracy, ideal things don't happen. That's why you have to sometimes push your way where a visionary leader comes. And I want this chief minister to say, yes, these 3 roads will have bus priority.
So, in your mind, which one would you rather push? An elevated corridor or 12,000 buses?
I will push 12,000 buses.
And why?
And don't say why you have not pushed. I have pushed and failed. Let me say that.
You pushed and failed.
I pushed and failed because that BMTC said, where is the place to run? There is no place. If I put more buses, my buses, and by the way, BMTC is making losses for what you know that. Not because there are not enough people taking the BMTC buses. They are making because their average speed is less than 6 kilometers. They are not able to do that many trips. So BMTC used to make money. BMTC is still loved. BMTC is still by far the best service. You
think the monopoly of the BMTC should be allowed?
Doesn't matter. BMTC
or should it be open to a
BMTC or CMTC or GMTC?
No, open it to a free market. Allow private players to come in.
But free market cannot have free roads. Unfortunately, infrastructure is still public infrastructure. Private buses also, and private buses will do chaos what happened in Delhi Green Line. Correct? They will cut and kill some people on the road to take more passengers. So, private, anyway, I don't believe in monopolies. Obviously, private should be allowed. They stopped Zipgo, which was, I think, the most short-sighted idea. And BMTC always opposes anything which is done, which I am completely against. Not that BMTC service is the worst, but is also not the best. So BMTC or anybody, I want Bangalore to have 20,000 buses.
Okay.
But today, equal number of buses are run by private sector anyway, for the companies, by the companies and all that. So I am not into this socialist capitalist fight. It should be free market. Who can provide the better service should do it. My question is that public transport today cannot be increased unless you create capacity in the infrastructure. And capacity in the infrastructure cannot be created because roads can't.
The argument that is being put forth against what you have just said is that in increasing public transport would automatically mean people start shifting to public transport, which in turn will reduce the number of private vehicles.
Completely agree.
Then where is the question of not having space to run the public transport system?
I completely agree.
Then what is the argument?
There is no political will to improve the public transport. But improving public transport means give priority to public transport.
Okay.
What priority BMTC gets? Today BMTC is not even subsidized. By the way,
it is a bit subsidized in
to an extent. But suppose they say, okay, fine, it's a public service. To reduce the congestion and pollution, improve the quality of life in the city, I am going to give this much subsidy to BMTC to buy state-of-the-art buses or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I am going to give right of way to BMTC.
The ideas seem to be same on both sides of the fence, where is the difference coming?
The difference is, I'll tell you why. I consider myself a person of public policy and planning, where I'm looking for solutions.
Right.
Unfortunately, other people are always coming, but when solution is given, they oppose it, which is usually called activism. Now, my suggestion is that if they really believe in it, how many of them, I call them Beda Brigade. Don't be Beda Brigade, be Beku Brigade. How many of them have gone and asked the government, please dedicate one lane for buses on Bangalore roads?
I think there has been a lot of movement.
Tell me one person.
No. I think there's been a lot of movement in asking the government to increase the number of buses itself. We have been talking about
but increasing the number. Okay, how many people have gone and protested against these ministers delaying tactics, for example? How many? There has been no.
I don't think there has been any protest against the lack of political will on
anything.
On the.
Forget about
the BMTC has always.
No, let's not generalize. Just let's go to a specific point.
We did have
people came on the roads. It is a public project. Steel flyover.
Yes,
they came on the roads,
and people came on roads for bus beko also because they said we wanted more buses.
But see, electric buses tender is stuck for 9 months, 1 year. Why they are not coming on the roads? I think they should come. I'll be very willing to join them. They should come on the roads for giving dedicated bus lanes. I'll be please use your medium and ask them. I will be the champion of blocking the roads for the buses, and we can dump elevated corridor.
So you're not hard and fast. You're not wedded to the idea then.
Why the hell? I'm not a politician. I'm not a contractor. I am not even working anywhere. I don't have an office to go to where I have to worry about my commute. I'm meeting you in a place. I want this. This is the only city in the country which has everything going for it. This could be the only city in the country which can be world class. And what is letting us down is our infrastructure. And especially mobility infrastructure. And of course, unfortunately, our lakes. My request to all the people who are activists or who are opposing things, please come on a common agenda to propose things. Please organize a meeting. Please organize a forum. Let's go together and get these are the 3 roads. Let's barricade and give 1 lane, and there we ensure that every 30 seconds there is a bus, which essentially means we have to increase the number of buses.
Correct.
And let those buses be electric. Suddenly traffic will come down, pollution will come down, and we are happy. And where are these buses going? One is going to Electronic City, Hosur Road, one is going to EPIP, ITPL, and one is going to Outer Ring Road. That is where 70% traffic goes. You're done. But why they are not doing it? Suddenly this professor comes with this fancy study. You know what happens? Many times activists start gloating in their own glory. They think their job is done by writing an article and going after for a protest. What happens after steel flyover was dumped? Did anybody protested for alternate?
The alternate to the steel flyover actually was with the Bas Bhagya Beku project that was also done by CFP at that point of time.
So Bas Bhagya Beku
then the suburban rail also was pushed, which was also pushed for
on the suburban rail.
Yes.
Now
the MOU has been signed.
Suburban rail by definition is suburban.
Correct.
Okay. People think by introducing suburban rail, Bangalore traffic will come down. Unfortunately, not. Suburban rail is for the people from suburbs to come to city.
Right.
And that cannot be run at the frequency and at the capacity where the metro runs. So by the time somebody comes from Ramnagar and going to Electronic City, chances are somebody in Marthalli will not get space. Maybe they'll get if they are going to Electronic City. So that is very good. I work with PC Mohan. I work with Rajiv Gowda. I went to Delhi, and then Devanaro, somebody, Sanjeev or somebody like that. I arranged his meeting with Prabhu when he was the railway minister during Invest Karnataka. And we worked on it. Hudi station came about.
Right.
So, but thing is, the people think this will solve all the problems. This will not solve all the problems.
I don't think anybody is arguing in terms of absolutes, Mr. Mishra. I don't think anybody thinks that one is going to solve everything. Like you said, the elevated corridor wouldn't solve everything. Buses won't solve everything.
I will end with this. In my mind, purpose of elevated corridor is to provide space for buses. Okay. Now, dedicated space, and only then, and because I believe metro or suburban is not going to be able to cater to Bangalore needs. At best of their capacity, they'll take 15-20 lakh people. Bangalore needs to carry 80 lakh people.
Right.
Correct? 80 lakh people by metro or suburban all put together will not be able to carry at least 20, 30, 20, 50. Then in the interim, if we do not flood the city, what happened to Bogota? Bogota went to bus route. It's all BRTS and things like that. Why are we not pushing for even Outer Ring Road? We are not pushing for it. Correct? Outer Ring Road, all three now with the white topping and everything is fantastic.
Right.
Luckily, initially the metro was stopping at Kerpuram. Now we managed to push the metro to Hebbal and now all the way to the airport. This is something why people are not pushing. All the people who had proposed a metro from Silk Board to Kerpuram, tell me one person who talked about it. Nobody talked about it. Who then opposed, why only till Kerpuram? Why shouldn't it go to Hebbal? Why? Nobody did it. Why now they are not saying that why from Hebbal it should come back to Silk Board on Mysore from that, Banshankar and all? Nobody is doing it. If you say metro should be more metro, one thing they also need to understand, I work with the government and I have been working government with 6 chief ministers almost, from SM Krishna, Dharam Singh and all that. By opposing, you don't get things done. You get things done by proposing and pursuing it to the crazy extent with patience. Politicians come and go. Citizens are permanent. And the way it happens, every project takes 4 to 5 years. So when I started Tendershore, 2010, okay, finally it became a reality after 5 years. When we started this white topping, 2012-13, we got one sample done in Madiwala, and finally now it is happening. The government is a machinery which moves slowly, but it moves surely if you are at it. Problem with activism is that you come, you do, and then you go on with your life. Very few people have the time, commitment and tenacity to pursue these projects. Some are there, and I really salute the people who are pursuing for the suburban.
Correct.
Okay, and I that's why I like to support them. I don't like to support them who come and write one article suddenly which is biased, misleading and mischievous, and they think that they are giving a great service, and then all activists pick that article that as if this is God's word. Why this gentleman is not in any of the government committees? If he is so knowledgeable, he should present himself to the government. If the government says no, he should come to the public and say, I mean, writing article is not a solution. So my suggestion is that I am
but
for
there has
public
been
transport.
nothing that has been put forth to actually counter what he said also. Has there been response?
Nobody has time. Nobody takes these things seriously. Everybody has taken, see, once you have been labeled in people's mind, doesn't matter what you do, you are going to be opposed. I oppose, I propose also. But people listen because
but there is nothing to counteract.
Nobody has time or energy to counter. What is there? I mean, I am telling you it's mischievous, but I have no time to go and fight and argue with that guy. Because I think these kind of things keep coming. There are zillion articles. I mean, newspapers are sold like
this is a bona fide professor of transport department.
Being professor doesn't make you bona fide.
No, it's what I mean to say is, wouldn't he be at least? I mean, his
fine,
basics are sound.
Let him. If the data is authentic, let him go to the government and argue it. Let him file this data into NGT and oppose it. Correct? You have to have that tenacity if you really believe in it. All the people who opposed Bengaluru and Varthur Lake, what happened? I have always been telling the lakes are not the rivers. Lakes should not flow. But all our Sridhar Pabisetti and all these gang said, oh, sewage must go through the lake. First clean the whole city's sewage, then we'll allow the lakes to be cleaned. But Agra Lake is cleaned because sewage is going bypassed. But they will not allow that in Bengaluru. It is all political. To me, it was all political. Okay. There are some elections going. There was some gentleman who was going to stand for election. And he said, let the government be seen in the bad light. And the whole world knows Bangalore as a burning lake city. For the political gains, they killed the brand city, brand Bangalore. This is a very, I'm sorry to say, majority of them get emotional and get waylaid by these activists, but some of them are not necessarily doing things in the best interest of the city.
Now that you've spoken about being emotional, the green cover is a very emotional issue for us Bangaloreans. I mean, even if one branch grows, we kind of we lose it.
I try to plant as many trees, and I live in a place surrounded by trees.
The last question that I'd like to ask you, Mr. Mishra, is that the elevated corridor, you said, wouldn't cut down many trees at all. In fact, I think in one of the debates you said it would be less than 20 trees is what you had said.
That was for one stretch.
One stretch, something. Today, if media reports and a couple of other reports that I have read are to be believed, they say about 3,000 trees are expected to be cut down for this project. Is that even worth, given the kind of, I mean, you open your weather report and it says unhealthy air quality. Mumbai doesn't have it except
completely agree with you.
So how do you...
So let me just come there. So first of all, any tree cut is wrong. Second, that these 3,000 trees are excessive, and application of mind was not there by the consultants. So now the work has been reworked.
Okay.
I think number will drastically come down.
That will be a first for any kind of infrastructure project, that the number of trees are coming down. How many trees will be saved?
So I'm waiting for the report. It will drastically come down. What has been done is many places where it was like 6 lane and which was suddenly going to cut so many trees. It's okay, fine. Let's do up and down. 3 lane up, 3 lane down, rather than going like this. So many changes are being done. So you will see drastic decrease in the number of trees being cut. Some alignments have been changed so that the trees have been cut. have been reduced. The trees.
But if you had to give me a ballpark figure, if you say drastic, what?
I will not say that, because the moment I say, you will say K Mishra said this, and how come it is more? But when I say drastic, it's drastic. It'll be quite substantial. It's not be like 20 trees are less cut and all that. In fact, I have even told them if you have to reduce, if there is one very leafy corridor which is being cut, let's think of whether we really need that corridor or we need an alternate this thing. So this is all being done. But keep in mind, when metro comes, buildings get demolished, trees get cut. They also say we are putting in alternate locations, which I think is complete sham, because
where is it being put? Nobody knows.
I mean, even if it is being put,
wherever
if it is being put, it will take 20 years, correct?
Correct.
And if it is being put in UP and it is cut in Bangalore, doesn't help. If it is put in Hazargata and it's a microclimate, correct?
Correct.
You put 100 trees, suddenly temperature will come down. So I understand all that part, and it is unfortunate, and there's a cost of urbanization. That's why everybody is not living in the village. If you didn't have the livelihood issues, you'll not come to city. You live in the mango grove, correct? But you can't live, unfortunately, because you have employment needs, and employment needs require people to build offices. Employment needs require people to move and commute. So you have to balance. Now, my argument is that cutting 1,000 trees or 500 trees or 200 trees and building a metro line, that's one. If it is not built, what will be the environmental impact? By traffic clogged. Trees are cleaning the environment.
Correct.
But they have limited capacity to clean. If you give them too much to clean, they won't be able to do it. So if I have 100...
But if they're not even there, then who's going to clean at all?
No, it's not a question they're not there. Bangalore has 5 billion trees.
Which we're cutting down at an alarming rate, isn't it?
No. Alarming is again subjective. In 5 million, 500 trees, it could be alarming to somebody, 5 could be alarming to somebody, and 5,000 could. So I'm not going to that debate. My question here is, so we have to look at every time. This is a dilemma which not you and me, all over the world.
All of us do.
It's a development economics, correct? This is the biggest problem human race faces. This versus that, whether it's Amazon forest or palm oil in Malaysia or trees in India. So on this corridor, there are 1 lakh cars going, and if you put metro here, and 1 lakh car is emptying, for example, 100 kilo of CO2 per day, let's assume, and 100 kilo CO2 can be cleaned by 1,000 trees, but here are only 50 trees or 100 trees which will be cut, but this 100 kilo of carbon dioxide will come down to 20 kilos if metro comes. This is pure math.
No, there is a trade-off. There is nobody debating that.
And
there is nobody debating
beyond the trade-off, not a single tree. And if the trade-off is not positive, it should not be cut. If the trade-off is not carbon negative, I would say, the tree should not be cut off. So we should say, if these 3,000 trees, suppose it's 3,000, I don't think 3,000 will come down. With these 3,000, how much carbon emission we are going to reduce by not congesting those roads? And if that is negative, then let's not do it.
Right.
And then there is economic value. So I don't know if you are aware, the other day there was a ORCA meeting. ORCA is Outer Ring Road.
Outer Ring Road.
Metro MD came, BBMP Commissioner came, and they made a presentation. It is a 2016 report. The congestion on Outer Ring Road, where 5 million people work, 33% people on that road alone, 33% of the India's export happens from there, $18 billion export, 2016 report. $3 billion is the productivity loss just by people coming late or not their mental state, because after coming 2 hours in traffic they need 1 hour to relax.
Yes.
And at 3 o'clock they got really worried, and it was an Intel campus.
Yes.
It got over at 4 o'clock. You know, by the time I came out of Intel Gate, how much it was? 5:15. And that time my car is on. My car is on. It's not that I switch off and on. What is it? So I think we have created this problem. Somebody came from Delhi yesterday. She came to meet me in the car along with her son. Son has joined the college. She came out of the car into this community and he still was having mask. And son said, Mom, are you mad? Finally you are getting air, remove the mask. So in Delhi, people don't have air and we shouldn't go there. Bangalore, we have been lucky, but Bangalore is no longer non-polluted city.
It isn't.
And in Bangalore, pollution is lot of it, around 60% pollution is vehicular.
Vehicular traffic.
Correct? Then because of construction, dust. Okay. Third is garbage burning. Now, vehicular pollution, how will it go down? By making public transport. And how will we get public transport? Metro will take 2030. Till 2030, we should do nothing. What we should do till then? I think, cancel elevated corridors. I am the first guy. But give me dedicated bus lanes on high density corridors. Okay. That's where I end my case.
Right, Mr. Mishra, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. So there you have it. Mr. Mishra actually was, when he started out in 2016, we've seen him propose and say, yeah, elevated corridor would be a very good thing. And today he says, scrap it all out and give me a dedicated bus lane. So clearly there are converts on both sides of the fence. It remains to be seen which side the government will lean on. Thank you again. We hope to see you next week with another very interesting character from Bangalore City.